Howdy and welcome to the show. So you've got a battery charger, you need to charge your batteries and the charger has died. Is there anything that you can actually do? Well, there is a few things that you can do. So what I've got here is actually a Fuji battery charger, and this particular one is for the NP85 type batteries. So it has died. So we take a look inside this battery charger. I was able to poke around with the multimeter and came through the 240 volt input here, just around through the AC components here, and this is where it bridges over to the DC section. There's a beautiful segregation between the AC area and the DC area on this board. So this is where it bridges over, just here, and enters the DC section here, and there's your proper charging circuitry and modules and other bits and pieces. Interesting, and I'll put a link in the description of the video to the teardown I did on the 18650 cheap battery charger. It basically had these components and a few caps and so on, but none of this IC work, which is what you actually need to properly charge a lithium battery. So basically figured out that this part here is okay, but it's not receiving mains power down to this section of the board. So for the most part, I've considered this board dead. I couldn't find the exact point of failure. So what I've done is I've connected two wires to the actual positive and negative probe points here, the terminals, that actually connect to the battery. By doing that, I've actually enabled an external power source, as long as it's at the right voltage and the right amperage, to be connected using this charger and the cradle and everything that suits the battery that it goes in. Well, let me show you what I mean. So I've put that battery charger back together, and as you can see, because of the size of the cutout and the pin orientation of the battery, designed to fit perfectly in there and charge up your battery as you would normally expect. This one's dead, but getting something to line up with these pins, getting something different to line up with these pins, or even attaching alligator clips or anything else to try and put some power into this battery so I can use the product, that's a little bit tricky. So you are actually better off, wherever you can, using the dead battery charger and using the orientation of the pins. Just connect something down to those positive and negative like I just showed you. So from there, I've actually been able to charge this up using a lab power supply. So first things first, I've set the lab power supply up to limit it at 0.65 of an amp. If you take a look at this power supply, its actual ratings and other information is on the back, and one of the pieces of information that are available is the maximum output at 0.6 of an amp and the output voltage at 4.2 volts. So I set my lab power supply up exactly the same way and connected it to these two pieces of wire, and it charged the battery in about 3 hours. And you can actually see the current dropping as the battery is charging up, and you can see the voltage ramp up from 3.7 into 4.2, and then, like I said, the amperage drops off and you have a charged battery. So as you can see, even though the primary battery charger for this NP85 battery had died, I can still use the holder part and the pin configuration part, run a couple of wires off another battery charger that has the same output, and I can charge up my battery and get going again. So thanks very much for joining me and watching the show. Subscribers are always welcome, so feel free to subscribe, that would be great. And I hope you'll join me again next week.